Sup YouTube, it's your boy Sly88 Fry here. 10:21 a.m. in the morning. Let's get this video done as quickly as possible. Upload it. Here we go. So, it's a new AVGN video. He just uploaded one yesterday. I didn't have a chance to record it today, but actually before we begin, check this out. Crash Bandicoot energy drink now from G Fuel. Just like how there's a Sonic the Hedgehog one and of course a PewDiePie one, as I've shown in some earlier shorts. Hey, I hope to play a Crash Bandicoot game someday. For some reason, I've never played them. I watched my oldest brother play the first two games on the PS1 back in the 90s, but for whatever reason, I just haven't played it. I don't know why, just for some reason I didn't play it. It looked like a really hard game, I guess, but maybe it's possible it wasn't such a hard game. It just looked like it because maybe he was bad at the game or something, because I do recall also back in the 90s, I watched my other older brother, the bad one, play Bomberman Hero, and in the 5-day rental period from Hollywood Video, it finally on that 5th day, he and his friends were able to beat the first planet in the game. Then I finally played the game for the first time like 12 years later or whatever, and I was able to beat the first 2 planets of the game in just a couple hours. So that made it clear to me that the Bomberman Hero wasn't really that hard. They just weren't very good at the game. So maybe Crash Bandicoot's not as hard as I think it is. I don't know. Anyways, let's get started on AVGN React, and check this out. I got a Halloween mask, which includes just wearing a face mask so I could have ugly teeth on a face mask. Something I've always wanted to have a creepy one during this pandemic. Actually, if anybody can tell me in the comments, is there a way I can order a custom-made mask, you know, for this pandemic that's a Zerg Hydralisk from StarCraft? I've been wanting that for a while, but I don't know where to order one. Anyways, let's get started with the new AVGN episode. This is gonna be so much fun. I love his Halloween episodes.
Happy Halloween from all of us here at Cinemassacre. It's that time of year.
Yes, it is, and I don't need to know more about NordVPN right now. So let's... what happened?
I'm feeling a little back to...
Yes, I can tell. And even though Back to the Future is not on Netflix America, I think it's on Hulu, actually. So you don't actually have to get a VPN to get it, if I'm correct in that statement.
You like to play shitty games?
No good pieces.
Oh yeah, Wumpa Fruit. Is that from Crash Bandicoot? A Wumpa Fruit?
How about that? It's been 15 years since our very first Halloween special,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. And in all those years since, one of the more interesting things that have come along to celebrate those shitty games were the NECA figures. They're action figures, but not from the movies, the NES versions.
So
Look at
ridiculous.
that. Jason's purple, just like in the game, which further begs the question. Why was he purple to begin with? What were they thinking?
I don't know.
Might as well have Grimace in a hockey mask. They even have the infamous death screen on there. You and your friends are dead. Game over. And Freddy has...
Remember the exaggerated version of it from the original Friday the 13th episode from AVGN? Or as he was called at the time, ANN, Angry Nintendo Nerd? Yeah, check it out. I love his exaggerated version.
As you can see, is in the same obnoxious neon orange. Very scary. And it has the classic Freddy trademark, is dead.
Freddy trademark.
Well, anyway, we have some games to look at. Did you know there existed a Freddy and Jason game on the Commodore 64?
Yay!
Yeah, if you thought the NES versions were bad, wait till you see these. But first, I want to show you some other horror games on the Commodore 64, like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. I can't believe a game like this existed. Let's see if I can get it to load.
I've waited all these years, locked in this hellhole with your stupid ass. That nerd. he had forgotten about our shitty games. And being forgotten is a bitch. But now, when he remembers the fear, that will give us power. That's our ticket back to the real world. And we'll make that nerd pay for what he's done to us.
Fear, huh? In 2009, the fucking nerd had to actually literally fight the devil when he reviewed Super Mario Bros. 3. Only Super Mecha Death Christ was able to help him defeat the devil. In 2012, he actually fought a rogue, Rob the Robot, who looked like he actually killed the nerd, but the nerd actually somehow survived. The nerd saw alternate versions of himself in, I think it was the year 2015, maybe 2014, I forget, with the Berenstein Bears episode, and saw evil versions of the Berenstein Bears kill an alternate version of himself from an alternate universe. I think he's dealt with a lot of fear. None of that was enough. He was facing near death and seemingly impossible enemies. He had to run away in 2007. He had to run away from the Leatherface. He was also tied up by some crazy people when reviewing the Friday the 13th films. He also had to survive a fight against Michael Myers. None of these fears were enough? Okay.
Well, Psycho is pretty disappointing. Not because it's one of those keyboard command search-based games, which I suck at, but because it has very little to do with the movie. You're a detective in a stereotypical Sherlock Holmes outfit, I presume, searching the Bates Motel for stolen jewels. In the attic, you do encounter Norman and his dead mother, but that's about the extent of it. How about Ghostbusters? Remember how much the NES version sucked? Driving around, running out of gas, collecting money to buy equipment when it should have just been about zapping ghosts?
Yeah.
Well, the Commodore 64 version takes it a step further. As soon as you start the game, you're assaulted with this boring wall of text. You have to buy the car? Shouldn't you just start with the Ecto-1? Which one is it? I'm no car expert, so I picked the first one, and I end up with Herbie the Love Bug. Well, fuck this shit. So I tried a game called Slimer. Yeah. Now that...
In case you're wondering, Herbie is that joke you made. Herbie is a reference to well, there's a classic series of movies from like the 60s, I think. I forget when they came out, but it's called Herbie, and the main character is actually a car, a Volkswagen slug bug, as it's commonly called, just Volkswagen bug of the time, and it was named Herbie, and it was alive, and because of the old time, it wasn't like there wasn't like a CG face or anything like that. It just it was a vehicle that was alive, and it was in competition to race against like another race car driver, and there were some funny things going on there. There was like a love story between Herbie and like a different slug bug that was alive or something. I don't remember, but it's been so long since I watched them. There was like a remake of Herbie in like 2008 or something with Lindsay Lohan, which was during that era when, she threw her life away. At least she was given a chance to, make up for it in a remake of a classic, but I guess that didn't go very well. But yeah, that's Herbie.
That's what I'm talking about. Food's flying everywhere. Eat it. I don't even know if this game was officially based on Ghostbusters, or it just so happened to feature a green floating glob called Slimer. But at least it's somewhat of a game. Next up, Evil Dead. Okay. Yes, an Evil Dead game on Commodore 64.
All right.
You have to use a lot of imagination here. I think this is Ash, the Bruce Campbell character, or it's the top of a runaway sink. I don't know. This is the cabin.
I actually didn't realize that was supposed to be a person. I thought it was like, I don't know, like the handlebars on a bicycle or like some kitchen sink or something. I was like, what the fuck is that?
There's the fireplace. And this thing, it's one of those swinging porch chairs. Wow.
Okay, sure.
They tried. The object is to defeat all the Deadites. You can pick up weapons, but when you attack, your arms are invisible. Am I hitting him, or is he hitting me? You can even close doors and windows to stop them from entering. And when you die, the screen bugs out.
Well, at least it tells you that you die.
Groovy. Well, that exists. I guess let's try the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
All right.
Come on, nerd. Play our games. Do it now.
Well, it's right.
I could actually tell that it's a different Jason. I mean, obviously it's going to be because Mike Matei is no longer on Cinemassacre, but originally Jason was played by Mike Matei. So I could like totally tell it's a different guy. Nothing wrong with that though, just because, you know, Mike Matei did leave Cinemassacre after all. Still not completely sure why he did. Maybe just, you know, things are going in a different direction. Maybe they weren't in agreement on things anymore or something. But that said, like, I could totally tell.
Rocky Horror, it doesn't matter what I say about it. It's just the fact it exists.
Yeah.
You take control of Brad or Janet, arriving at the castle and meeting all the wild characters. If you're familiar with the cult film, you'll enjoy the fact that it has the time warp music.
So that came from this movie. Okay, I didn't even realize that.
That alone makes it worth it. To serve up another spooky treat, we have The Munsters, based on the Monster sitcom. You might be wondering what the plot of a Munsters game could possibly be. Well, it's based on the episode where Lily Munster is busy running around the house shooting glowing orbs at zombies and floating skull bats. That was a good one.
Wasn't in
but
the
hey,
episode.
it's playable. And the whole time I'm sitting here with a smile thinking, I'm playing The Munsters. It even has the music. That always counts for something. Were there any Gremlins games on Commodore? Well,
like
take your pick. There's Gremlins the Adventure, which is one of those guess which word to type in kind of games. At least the graphics are cool, that they tried their best to depict scenes from the movie.
Nice.
The other Gremlins game I came across is action-based. You take control of Billy, I presume, hacking up gremlins with his sword. Yeah, well, there is a sword in one scene of the film, but damn, maybe Billy should have kept that sword throughout the rest of the movie. Maybe then he wouldn't have been such a wuss. His mom, on the other hand, was badass. She killed almost every gremlin in that house. I think if you make a Gremlins game, she should be the main character.
Yes, you should.
But forget about the movie-based games. What you want is stuff like this. Soulless. You're some motherfucking monster going around in a goddamn dungeon, laying waste to inferior monsters.
Nice.
The backgrounds are surprisingly detailed, with horned demon heads and shit.
That is cool.
This is metal. But the jumping
yeah.
kind of sucks.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, the jumping.
Next up is Chiller. At first, I thought it was going to be based on that ultra-gory crosshair shooter arcade, the one that got a tamed-down, crappy port on NES. But this game is totally different.
Okay.
You're hopping around this garbled mess collecting tombstones.
Those are
When you
trees.
get them all, you advance to the next level, which is a movie theater, and on the screen is the level you were just playing.
That is so weird.
So you were just inside a movie. That is a video game twist I've never seen.
What is this, Last Action Hero?
Back in the days of Commodore, at least. Very innovative. But you haven't seen anything till you've seen Weird Dreams. You want to know about this guy's weird dream? He was in some kind of machine. He jumped and then got transported to a carnival where a giant bee came and grabbed him by the crotch. By the crotch! And then he woke up in some kind of hospital with creepy people looking over him.
What do you expect? He got stung by a gigantic bee. That probably would kill you.
Whoa. That is genuinely scary.
Yeah, it is.
Wish I could get more of this game to work, but it keeps on glitching. Well, let's move on to the big one. Friday the 13th, the computer game. It says on the back of the box, before playing the game, make sure that you close and lock all doors, windows, and curtains, turn off all lights, use a candle if necessary, make sure Granny isn't in the room, and set the computer volume at maximum.
Whoa, don't do that. That last
Well,
one,
that's a bit of extra work.
Yeah.
But hey, it'll help me kill some time while the game loads. Why is there always lightning in my room? Anyway, I'll be right back.
I have no idea, man. Ooh. He's gone.
You're free, Jason, but don't kill him yet. Wait for me.
All right, I'm all set. I did everything the box said. I just got to turn the volume up here. Or not.
Yeah, come on. So Jason came back as
Well, they
toy.
certainly put a lot of effort into creating a whole cast of characters who you'll never care about. They even went through the trouble of giving each of them bios. And as far as I remember, none of them were from the movies. In the manual, it even has photos, like some kind of yearbook. Who are these people? The game designers, maybe? Daryl Peters, called Dip by his friends. Daryl doesn't take life seriously and just wants to laugh. As you can see, the graphics are nothing much to applaud or complain about.
Obviously.
The floors are gray, the ground is gray, everything is just as bland as ever, but at least there's a lot to explore. Yeah, Camp Crystal Lake has cemeteries, barns, churches, pretty much everything except a lake. Well, that was random.
Yeah, that was random.
And scary. The goal is to stop Jason from killing all the camp counselors, which he can do.
Sorry I didn't, like, shout in fear or anything. I'd rather have my react be legit instead of pretending to be scared. You've seen those people who play the, back when, like in 2013 or whatever, when a bunch of people were playing that Slender Man game on PC and how they got all frightened when they saw Slender Man. Let's be honest, they were faking it. That game is not even that scary, like, at all, you know? So, I'm sure he would have liked to have seen me actually shout in fear over that screen, but it didn't bother me. I'd rather have my react be a little more legit instead of pretending to be scared. Oh my god, those faces.
Off screen, and each time one of them's killed, they change to a gravestone. So you're supposed to lure the counselors away from Jason. If you grab a cross and put it in a room, that room becomes the sanctuary. So if you lead the counselors there,
I think I missed a few of his lines.
I'm
so scared.
Well, that was random and scary. The goal is to stop Jason from killing all the camp counselors, which he can do off screen. And each time one of them's killed, they change to a gravestone. So you're supposed to lure the counselors away from Jason. If you grab a cross and put it in a room, that room becomes the sanctuary. So if you lead the counselors there, they're safe. What kind of sense does that make? Jason's scared of a cross now? Like Dracula?
Yeah,
no, Jason would see that cross and all he'd think is it's something else he could use to stab people with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait to be stabbing you, nerd. Hurry up and play my game.
But this game does not lack weapons. This campground has axes, pitchforks, and spears just laying all over the place. You can pick one up at a time. I don't know if it even matters which one you pick. I'd pick the shovel, not the pick, because the shovel's my pick.
You don't want to pick the pick because the pick is a pick and the shovel isn't a pick. If you pick the pick, the shovel isn't a pick. Now you've got it.
That's like literally what I was thinking about. Yes, Abbott and Costello. Go on YouTube, check out Abbott and Costello. They are so funny. The Who's On First is a classic, and it's been referenced many times. It's been referenced in Animaniacs. It's been referenced in BoJack Horseman with Doctor Who. It's such a classic. And that one was, I forget what it's called, but it's like pick and shovel, Abbott and Costello. As soon as he said I picked the shovel and the shovel's my pick or whatever, however he phrased it, I immediately thought about that scene. So I'm glad he actually showed the clip. That was awesome.
So I have a weapon. I still haven't seen Jason anywhere. So I got restless and I started killing random people.
Oops.
That is the most high-pitched, blood-curdling scream I have ever heard in a game. That'll perk your pets up, wake your neighbors. If you turn that up loud, it'll destroy your senses.
Hey, at least they actually allow you to kill the other campers. That's actually pretty cool.
But damn, let's hear that again. Yeah, again.
Forget Jason. You're the killer.
Oh my god, it's like, ah! Oh man, that is amazing. That is the best scream of any game ever.
I'm gonna make you scream.
It's addicting. It's like your reward for murdering. Anytime you do it, you get to hear that hilarious shriek.
Yeah.
I also love how the bodies
Forget
stay on the
Jason.
ground, and if you return to the site, the game remembers to keep the body there.
That's awesome.
Wow, I think I found the true goal of this game. Kill all the counselors before Jason does.
Yeah.
Challenge his body count. See who's the real slasher king of Camp Crystal
Oh,
Lake.
yeah.
Where is Jason anyway?
I don't know. Maybe you are Jason.
You're not gonna believe this. Is Jason purple or pink, polka dotted? No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing you could even make up. Check this out.
I don't understand.
Jason is dead. Did you miss it?
Wait, what?
You killed Jason.
You did?
Look again. That is Jason.
It just looks like
All
a
along,
camper.
he's been disguised as one of the counselors.
Oh, dude. How do I handle this one?
That's
Begs
really
so
bad.
many questions. First of all, how is that supposed to be Jason?
He looks just like a normal guy.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, but he's wearing black clothing, so that makes him Jason. Where's the hockey mask? Even
He's
the back
evil
of the
'cause he wears
box
black.
mentions the mask, and it's on the damn cover. But why isn't he wearing it? I guess because he couldn't fit it under his rubber face disguise. And why is his real face so normal? You ever seen what Jason's real face looks like in the movies? It's quite distinct. How does Jason disguise himself? Especially when it's a girl. Does he put on a wig and a bathing suit? Oh, that would have been a great scene.
Maybe it's based on the first movie when Jason wasn't the killer. Or maybe it's not Jason Voorhees. It's some other guy that just happened to be named Jason. Or maybe the game is just called Friday the 13th, but it's unrelated, kind of like that TV show that nobody cared about. Or maybe, just maybe, the game fucking sucks.
Yeah, it just sucks.
The funniest thing about this is that the best strategy to find out which of the counselors is Jason is to kill first and ask questions later. And it works. Just kill everyone in sight. Sooner or later, you'll get them. The game
Yeah.
rewards you for such an extreme rash decision. Now, that should be a movie plot. The counselor kills everyone on the assumption they could be Jason and thus becomes an even worse killer than Jason.
Yes.
What a twist.
This is the least accurate movie-to-game adaptation I have ever seen. This couldn't be any less faithful to the films if the soundtrack had Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Let me tell you something. Maybe you laughed at that comment about the soundtrack having Old MacDonald Had a Farm, or maybe you only got a minor chuckle out of it, or maybe you felt indifferent about it. But one thing's for sure, you're certain that I'm joking. That would be a very rational way of thinking.
Yes.
But the
So-
strange thing is, I'm not joking.
What?
I am dead fucking serious.
Yeah, I've never seen you take your
What I have
glasses off,
heard
nerd.
with my own ears is a Friday the 13th game that has Old MacDonald at a fucking farm!
Wow. That is
Jason Voorhees had a farm. And on that farm he killed a guy.
With a here and a here here.
Jason Voorhees had a farm. Are you gonna sing Old MacDonald? Or are you gonna play my game, bitch?
Now that's the
too
perfect
pleasant a
score to
song
go
for the
along
game.
with people getting murdered over
Exactly.
assumptions that they're an immortal serial killer. That should have been in the movies.
Old MacDonald is one of several unlikely songs to be featured in this game. There's the Wedding March, for example.
For what reason?
But things get weirder. Check out the manual.
Variety.
It's like they made the game a joke. Like they just want to put songs that just don't go with somebody murdering people.
Is the word here. Friday the 13th, the computer game, has snatches of music familiar to everyone.
Yeah.
Try to name them all.
So it's a name that tune game on top of being a slasher villain game? I'm genuinely perplexed.
Yeah.
In that way, you could put whatever random bullshit you want in anything. That'd be like if I scattered random lol dolls all over the episode for no reason, just to be completely random, just to say later, hey, did you catch all 5? And yeah, I call them lol dolls.
I don't even.
Lol dolls.
Lol dolls.
Wow. That is a bleeding severed head with a machete planted in it in a 1986 video game. That music is absolutely stunning. Okay, this game rules, and the manual is a gold mine. The 2 blood capsules included free with this package are non-toxic and contain red sugar, which forms simulated blood when placed in the mouth.
Cool.
This game included blood capsules? Where are they? Where? Oh, I guess somebody already used them back in '86.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, this game keeps getting more and more interesting.
You're not gonna need blood capsules when I get there. How long is this review gonna be?
Win a color monitor? All you have to do to win your Eureka monitor is to listen to the 10 sound effects recorded on your Friday the 13th tape after the computer game?
What the fuck? It's taking forever with this game.
There's audio on this cassette?
Well,
Welcome to the Friday the 13th Horror Sound Effect Competition. You can win a Eureka monitor, which you can touch.
Write the number of each sound in the box opposite the most appropriate description? Finally, imagine what it would be like to own your own software house and decide what name you would give it? 5 entrants with the most dynamic and descriptive names will receive the prizes? Shithouse Productions. Anyway, I spent way too much time here, so let's move on to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, now you're playing with power.
all right.
You start this thing up, and right away, you got the cast of characters. Actual characters from Part 3. So this game is based on the Dream Warriors, sort of like the NES version. You start off from a bird's eye view as this little tiny white figure. I feel like I've seen this same pixelated character in other old video games.
Well, yeah,
I bet if you had
stick
20
figure.
of these little guys, it could be an old football game or something. The goal here is that you're looking for Freddy's house, just to see if he's home, I guess. And he happens to live in one of the most confusing housing developments. Probably has courts and lanes and Unit A1, B2.
Oh, yeah. I get your name.
Oh, Freddy's ready already. He's rock steady when he's in the Serengeti. He's chopping off your heady with machete. He's massive. If I was walking around the neighborhood and this giant dude comes at me, I'd be like, I'm done. Just get me. So I find Freddy's house, and it just looks like any other ordinary house on the block. Then I get a message saying that I've done well, but I now must seek my friends. You'd never know it, but looking at the manual, it's supposed to be Amanda Kruger, Freddy's mom, talking to you.
Whoa, that's
now,
weird.
all of a sudden, your character starts to look more like a fleshed-out human being. The
that's
interior of Freddy's house is a
good.
maze of purple walls, and level 3 is like you're walking around giant slabs of green jello. All throughout the game, you encounter stock enemies like skeletons and ghosts. Yep, we're in an...
Perhaps maybe what's going on is when you were a stick figure, it was zoomed out. The perspective is meaning that you're zoomed out more, but now that you look like an actual human being, the perspective is zoomed in more. I'm thinking that's probably what it's supposed to be. I was also gonna mention, but this guy had really loud music playing right by me, so I didn't really want to talk. But I know what he means about like complicated neighborhoods. Since I work for DoorDash, I deal with that like all the time. And what's really frustrating is that a lot of customers don't seem to have the common sense to actually put down drop-off instructions to make it easier to find their apartment, you know? Sometimes they don't even put down their apartment number, just the address number, and there's no drop-off instructions, but the address has like, I don't know, like 100 apartments or something, right? So like, how am I supposed to find their apartment if they don't put down the apartment number, for example, right? So I have to text them, be like, hey, what's your apartment number? All I got is the address. There's a lot of apartments here, you know, and sometimes they don't even reply. So feel like my time's being wasted. And I mean, eventually they'll reply, or I'll have to call them, and so on. But yeah, I mean, most of the time they usually leave something in there to make it easier to find them, like the apartment number, or in some cases a drop-off instructions. But a lot of the time they don't, and it gets really frustrating. Complicated neighborhoods, they suck when doing a job that involves delivery. All right, let's continue.
Another edition of Boo Haunted House. There's hardly any sound
exactly.
in this game. You do get to hear the Freddy music at the start of each level.
That's cool. Oh yeah, there you go.
But during the gameplay, it's dead silent, except for a few sound effects here and there. It even tells you what it is you're supposed to be hearing. You hear Kristen screaming in agony in the distance? Geez, you couldn't actually have a scream?
No
like
kidding.
in Friday the 13th?
Yeah, no kidding. That would have been good, yeah.
You collect weapons and items because, hey, isn't that what all video games were about? You run around picking up junk.
Yeah, that's what the 80s were all about. As kids, we were always carrying around a baseball bat, a magnet, some keys, holy water, magic dagger,
Of course,
Somewhere
yeah.
you can get a gun, but what would a gun do?
Yeah, in the 90s, we always were wearing 3D glasses all the time. Everybody had a mohawk. Everybody bleached their hair. No. But everybody had a mohawk. We always wore these really weird skateboarder shirts. Everybody was on skateboards, of course. Oh my gosh, yes. And then if you weren't on a skateboard, you had to be on rollerblades, right? Everybody was on rollerblades, of course. You can't deny that. And yeah, 90s. Nobody wore shoes. It's all about rollerblades, skateboards. Oh yeah, definitely. Nobody wore shoes in the 90s. You damn right.
Against an immortal, soul-stealing killer who invades your dreams. Well, I think we're in the dream already, so maybe it's a dream gun.
Keys, holy water, magic dagger,
Somewhere you can get a gun, but what would a gun do against an immortal, soul-stealing killer who invades your dreams? Well, I think we're in the dream already, so maybe it's a dream gun. When you collect ammo, it says bullets taken.
It's like the heaven gun in American Dad. The gun that could actually kill angels in heaven and stuff, even kill God with it. Oh, that's so, and the angels are like, why did we invent this gun?
The terminology just doesn't seem right. Saying I took a bullet carries a much more serious implication.
That'd be like if you were on a plane and the pilot said, "We're going down," but he meant to say, "We're making our descent."
You can even get coffee cups, and as the game says, the coffee restores your soul.
That's how I feel about coffee. We need a shirt of that.
I bet you've seen all these coffee shirts that are out there. Some are mildly amusing, while others are straight up stupid, but they all share one thing. They express a love of coffee. Well, how about one from the Commodore 64 Nightmare on Elm Street that says, use coffee to restore
Hold on. I
your
gotta see
soul.
what that last one was.
That's how I feel about coffee. We need a shirt of that.
I bet you've seen all these coffee shirts that are out there. Some are mildly amusing, while others are straight up stupid, but they all share one thing. They express
Drink coffee, do stupid things faster with more energy. That's awesome. The thing about coffee for me is that since I have ADHD, caffeine does the opposite. These energy drinks, they're not actually giving me extra energy. They're actually giving me the ability to focus more because caffeine calms me down. But anyways, let's continue.
a love of coffee. Well, how about one from the Commodore 64 Nightmare on Elm Street that says, use coffee to restore your soul? Some parts you have to pull a lever, but you'll barely notice it amongst all these cracks in the wall.
What the fuck?
All right, kill the ghost.
How do you
what just
kill
happened?
a ghost?
A fatal disk error has occurred.
Oh, shit.
Well, there's not much else to see in this game, but the manual has a tech support number. I think I'll call it.
Oh, yeah, like that number's in service anymore. 666.
Nightmare on Elm Street tech support. What's your issue?
I'm having a problem with my Commodore freezing up.
Okay, I'm happy to help. I just need a little more information. Do you want a slow death or eternal life in hell. Ha ha!
Oh shit.
Ha ha! Time to experience a fatal error, nerd.
Come on, they're toys. Just kick them away.
I'm gonna chop you to kilobits.
Chop you to kilobits? They're just toys. Kick them away.
Free, you bastard!
Really?
Yeah.
No! No! No!
Yeah.
Wow, episode 200.
Fuck.
I'm sure he'll have to take his time making that. Episode 100, if I remember correctly, was the Rob the Robot episode back in 2012. And that was one of the episodes that took longer to make than almost any episode that he's ever made. So I'm sure he's gonna take a long time to make episode 200. He probably actually already started doing some stuff for it, just so that maybe we'll have it by the end of the year or something. But it's gonna be, I'm sure he's been working really long on it. It may even have something to do with why, was it last week or the week before? I forget when, but why there was a Cinemassacre podcast that didn't have James Rolfe in it, but it did have Scott the Woz as a guest on there, which was awesome. You know, cool to see him once again featured on the Cinemassacre YouTube channel for the first time since, a couple years ago on the James and Mike Mondays, which obviously that show's not around anymore since Mike Matei had left Cinemassacre. So what'd you think about this newest episode of AVGN? I thought it was actually really awesome. I loved how he reviewed so many different horror-themed games on the Commodore 64. That's really cool that he actually, it's really awesome that he's actually finally able to review in depth the Commodore 64. There was that episode from the beginning of the month, I think it was, where he reviewed a lot more games on this old-ass computer that, only works when it feels like working. and then now finally at the end of the month he reviews some Halloween themed ones, so that's pretty awesome. I know a lot of people like to say that new AVGN is just not as good as classic AVGN. I think it just kind of depends on your tastes. New AVGN has a little more details going on. Classic AVGN is faster, easier to digest content, which is why it's easier to go back to classic AVGN episodes and watch them again as opposed to the newer ones because they're more elaborate, usually longer too. But I think James Rolfe really did a good job with this one, and same with the rest of Screenwave Media as well, of course, because obviously James Rolfe didn't do it by himself. But yeah, come on, what's so threatening about those little toys? Yeah, granted, we did have Child's Play with Chucky coming to life and trying to kill different people. That was legitimately scary because the doll was big enough to actually be the size of a child, so it actually kind of makes sense. But toys that small, they're not really that threatening. You just kick them away. What are they gonna do? It's pretty funny how he was able to print out papers from such an old printer so quickly, though. Usually printers that old take forever, so I'd say that's kind of a flaw there. But it is funny to see him using that old style paper that I don't think is even in circulation anymore. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this new react video to the brand new AVGN episode. I wanted to do this episode last night, but I didn't really have the means to do so. I'm glad I did so this morning, got it done. Stay tuned for some more upcoming videos from yours truly, Sly88 Fry. I do have a collaboration with another small YouTuber named The Retro Critic. He's got about 4.6,000 or 4.8,000 subscribers. I got about 1.6,000 subscribers. We're trying to help each other out by doing a collaboration on by doing our own movie reviews of No Time to Die. I actually haven't seen the film yet, but I plan to soon. And I don't know if he's seen the film as of yet, but we actually recorded my scenes for my appearance on his version of the collaboration. We'll record his scenes soon enough, and then we'll record our own reviews. I actually show up on his video as a character I used to play in my classic comedy videos from a decade ago. By the way, check out my comedy compilation I uploaded last year, which includes basically all my comedies I uploaded from 2009 to 2013 or whatever, as well as some videos I uploaded later on, including one from 2020 actually. And if you don't mind, check out my Sonic movie review. I actually worked really hard on that, uploaded it back on July 29th. Dealt with the copyright gods. That was a pain in the ass. And I still have a new celebration for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, having all the fighters now available that I plan to upload. You can check out the one I already uploaded on October 5th if you'd like, but stay tuned for one that is going to be a little more custom made that I'm going to have uploaded in the near future. It's just I've been busy with work, having to deal with issues with my car, hoping that my wife and I get to move into our own apartment in November. Honestly, we're not feeling that optimistic because we are hardly hearing back from them, and then all of a sudden they need additional information they didn't ask for before, which caused us to wait even longer, which was really frustrating to say the least. But anyways, stay tuned for more content, not just React videos. Also, check out my playlist of AVGN React videos. I have a whole bunch of them. I haven't reacted to every episode. I only started doing React videos in 2020, so obviously I don't have reacts to every video. But check it out. And anyways, again, what'd you think about the new AVGN episode? I really liked it. I thought it was really awesome. I thought it was really well made. I thought it was really cool. And it was, it was a little more simple. Like you'd expect from most AVGN episodes, but it was still really good. Really good. I loved it. It seems every time he does a Halloween episode, it's quite good. The only time I could think of where I didn't really care that much about a Halloween episode was when he reviewed Alien 3 on NES. My issue with that was because the review was just kind of mediocre, But it's not like it was bad or anything. Like, to be fair, not every single AVGN episode is a gem. Like, I didn't like the Atari Sports one that much. I did not think it was that good. And I wasn't that much into the Alien 3 one. I was a little disappointed with the Echo the Dolphin one because he never actually made it to that final boss, that crazy giant alien head. That would have made the review way better if he actually got to that point and commented about that, but he never did. So... But I think he did a very good job with this episode. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Click that bell icon to add me notifications. Stay tuned for some more React videos, some originals like that, collaboration with the Retro Critic on No Time to Die. Check out my other original stuff like my Sonic movie review and my comedy compilation I had mentioned. And stay tuned for if... my wife and I get to move into our own place. I plan to actually record an original series since I'll actually have the room to set this up. And therefore, hopefully I'll actually help the channel even more than these React videos do. That said, thank you so much for watching. You have a good one.